What's up guys, TopTierYugioh here. Today I'm going to give you a deck profile of what I played at the Philly Regionals. I think it's one that you guys will like. It's a pretty interesting deck. I decided to play Metalfoe Frogs, or MetalFrogs, whatever you want to call it. And I ended up going X3 or 6-3, it was 9 rounds, about 450 people. And I think the deck performed really well. My losses were due to some things that I really couldn't control, so I'll go into that in like a separate regional report or tournament report or something like that in a separate video probably. And so, with that being said, let's go ahead and get into the profile again. I'm very happy with this deck list, and that's why I'm sharing it with you guys. First, I played 3 of each Metalfoe, 3 Bismugear, 3 Volflame, 3 Steelin, 3 Silver, and 3 Gold Driver. And I know some people like to cut Bismugear to 2, but Bismugear is the best one. It's the only one that you specifically want to see, so that's why I decided to play 3. It's extremely good and important. 3 Eccentric Archfiends, these are also pretty staple in every Metalfoe deck. It's a starter card, so if you have any Metalfoe, something to destroy an Eccentric Archfiend is going to guarantee your scales and something extra to Pendulum Summon, as well as being a way to out monsters and other opposing boards, whether it be monsters or spell or traps. So Eccentric Archfiend is extremely good in this deck. Alright, so now for the interesting part of the deck. 3 Swap Frogs, 3 Dupe Frogs, and 1 Ronin Toadin. Sorry about the commons, I just learned about this deck at ARG Richmond last weekend, so I didn't have time to pick up the high rarity versions, but I'm extremely happy with the frog version of this deck. Like, it's definitely my favorite variant going forward. I think I'm going to keep these in. And they were just so good. Like, being able to summon Toadally Awesome and other rank 2s fixed a couple very big problems with the deck. The first one being that your boards are relatively easy to crack when your opponent has multiple summons. So like, if I would have Alkahest out, it would be very easy for my opponent to just like summon Thrasher and attack over it, or to like bait it with a Thrasher and then summon Gadget and Hanger, and then that's game. If I was playing against something like Paleozoic, it wouldn't even matter what Alkahest did because it can't affect their monsters. And in the mirror match, again, they can just attack over it with any normal monster. So I felt like a lot of times the boards that you made without Unicorn were relatively weak, and with Unicorn, you only have 4 cards in your deck that can get it for you. You have 3 Raccoons and then 1 Unicorn, but that's really not that many cards to consistently expect to make it every single game. So I wanted to add in another engine that gave me the ability to make something every single game that my opponent will have trouble dealing with. And because you're playing 3 Swap Frogs and 3 Dupe Frogs, you have 6 extra cards that contribute to you making a much stronger board. And I also like being able to out-establish boards without Pendulum Summoning, because that's huge with Dimensional Barrier being such a big problem to this deck already. And so actually I'm going to show you guys the combos after I finish up the main deck, so just hold tight for those. There are a lot of combos with these, so definitely stick around for those. Next we have 2 Majespecter Raccoons and 1 Unicorn. I cut down from 3 to 2 because the hands where you draw Raccoon with any of your frog monsters are really bad because they're both normal summons. So I didn't want too many normal summons in the deck, so I wanted to cut down. And so like, you can't do anything with Swap Frog Raccoon. You can only normal summon one of them. And if you're not normal summoning Raccoon, you can't search and Pendulum summon the Unicorn. So you have to normal summon the Raccoon, you have to normal summon the Swap Frog for a lot of the combos, and you also need to normal summon Dupe Frog. So it really just didn't work out the way I liked it to. I mean, but it was good. Like, I really liked 2 Raccoons and then 6 Frogs. And the Unicorn was just obviously good. 3 Gofu. This was the major difference in the decks that were played at ARG Richmond. So there was one that was played and almost made top cut actually. And then there was one that topped the 1K in Richmond. And neither of those played Gofu, instead they played the Speedroar engine, so like 3 Terratop, 1 Takedown board. But I decided to play Gofu mainly because I didn't want to play Takedown board. Like, the existence of Takedown board made me not want to play it, because Takedown board is a 1-of. You'll draw that 1-of approximately 13% of the time, which means in 13% of your hands, you will have 1 less usable card. Considering this is a Metalfoe deck, you need as many usable cards as possible, especially in this type of variant where you can dead draw. Like, you can draw Ronin Toadin, so you already have 1 extra dead card. So you have Ronin Toadin that's dead. I didn't want to have Ronin Toadin and Takedown board, because that's 2 dead cards, meaning I would draw them 24% of the time together if they're in the same deck, like, assuming we're still playing 40 cards. And that's a very high probability of being at a disadvantage in this format. However, the advantages of the Speedroar engine include being able to summon rank 3s like Breaksword to out-establish boards. You can destroy your combinations with Grand Pulse, and then you can summon Totem Bird easier. And then, let's see, there's Levier. So when you banish your things for Ronin Toadin, you can summon Levier to bring them back, and then make maybe a second Toadally Awesome. And so those are the pros. However, I felt like most of them you could do with Gofu as well. So like, if I special summon Gofu, I can make a Synchro to out-establish boards. I can summon Scrap Dragon or Vermilion to destroy combination, and some of the synchros themselves are just really powerful, such as Omega, Void Ogre Dragon, and especially Ultimate Zulkin, which interacts with Toadally Awesome. And so I felt that they both have their advantages between Gofu and the Speedroids. However, the Speedroids have more disadvantages because of the existence of Takedown Board. And then finally for the monsters, I played 2 Maxis. I think this is necessary, this format. This won me all of my matches against ABC, I think. Because like I went second in like pretty much every round, and Maxi was perfect. Like it was just too good not to play. If they go through with the Maxi challenge, you draw enough cards to kill them. But then if they don't do anything, and you kill them anyways. Like it's a little unfair, but hey, it is what it is. Maxi was great. I don't play that many spells or traps, and so this part's gonna be pretty quick. There was only 2 painful decisions, 1 Metalfoes fusion, 1 full Metalfoes fusion, counter, combination, and Vanity's Emptiness. And so you'll notice there's no Pot of Desires in this build. The reason I don't play Pot of Desires is because I felt like there were way too many cards to take out of the deck. Like I would have to take out before activating Desires. So in a standard Metalfoes deck, before you activate Desires, you generally want to search out all your spell or traps, and if you can, summon Raccoon to search your Unicorn. However, in this deck, you also need to worry about Ronin Totem, and because that engine is so much larger, there's a more chance of drawing that card and then banishing the Ronin Totem. Versus like with Majespecters, like if you banish Unicorn, you still might not draw Raccoon. But because there are 6 frogs, like 7 total, like if I banish Ronin Totem, I will definitely draw a Swap Frog probably. And that's like just awful. And so with the Pot of Desires, I would have had to worry about banishing my Unicorn, the Ronin Totem, the fusions, and the other Metalfoe spell traps, and literally banishing any of them makes your deck weaker. Especially since I'm not playing 2 full Metalfoe fusions, so banishing my only full Metalfoe fusion would hurt really bad. Like there are just too many things to banish for Pot of Desires in this deck, so I cut it completely. Then the next thing you'll notice is different is I am only playing 1 full Metalfoe fusion, and the reason for that is that the fusions don't really interact well with the Frog engine. Like while I was worried that this would really lower my ceiling, especially with the if you open like all Metalfoe hands. Like it's really awesome if you can set combination 2 for Metalfoes fusions, so you have the Orc combination play. However, I honestly didn't miss it that much, and I really enjoyed not drawing for Metalfoes fusion with frogs. Like it just does not mix well. Like yes, you can fuse for Adamante, but that's not really a good play. Like you never really want to actually do that. So I was really happy with just playing 1. Metalfoes fusion was obviously good, and then I was playing 1 combination before, and like that was the only Metalfoes trap I was playing. I switched to combination and counter, so shout outs to Logan for telling me to do this last minute. But counter was actually really good because you do break sometimes. Like sometimes you just can't win the game immediately. But being able to have like a set dupe frog and counter makes it really hard for your opponent to get over your board. So like how do you get over set dupe frog counter and like OZKs through that? Like it's really hard. Or even through like Toadally Awesome Dupe Frog set counter combination. Like so many people had trouble dealing with that board. Even if I didn't have like a lot of Metalfoe monsters, I was still able to survive and make more Metalfoe monsters with combination and counter. So like they would attack over like the Toadally Awesome. I get back a frog, special summon a Volflame, still have the combination. Destroy combination, get another scale, get like a fusion, and then now I have 2 pendulum monsters versus maybe only 1 or 2 earlier. So this pretty much gives me 2 extra pendulum monsters, and then I can just shuffle them back in the deck, and it just worked out really well. And then finally the 1 Vanity's Emptiness, I only drew it 1 time, and it won me the game, so pretty happy with that I guess. So now let's get into some of the combos that I was talking about earlier with the Frog engine. So I'm going to show you exactly why this engine is so powerful within this deck. So once again, this is the Frog engine that I played. 3 swaps, 3 dupes, and 1 Ronin Totem. Some people actually did play 2. I think they played 2 in ARG Richmond. However, I wanted to play 1 because again, I wanted to cut down on the number of engine requirements, such as Ronin Totem and Takedown Board if I had played that. So again, I just didn't want to dead draw any Ronin Totems, but these are the combos that you can do with the Frog engine to make your rank 2s, your Toadally Awesomes, your Crumble Logos, which is actually really good, number 45, and Sky Cavalry Centuria. Those are the rank 2s I play. And so let's go ahead and get into some of these combos. So the first one, and this is probably the one I pulled off the most often, was if you have both of your scales and then a single Swap Frog. So what you do is you normal summon your Swap Frog, you activate the effect to send Ronin Totem to the graveyard, return Swap Frog to your hand, pendulum summon it, of course along with anything else you have. So if you can pendulum summon the Swap Frog with like a Unicorn, which I did a couple times, like it's just game over. So when you pendulum summon the Swap Frog, you activate the effect again, and usually I would send a Swap Frog, but you can send anything. And then you activate Ronin Totem's effect, banishing the other frog that you just sent, and then you exease both of them for a Toadally Awesome. So that's like a really cool 3-card combo. So let's see. The other ones that I did. Let's see. This one's actually really similar. You have both of your scales and then a dupe frog. So pretty much if you have both scales and any frog, this works, except for Ronin Toadin. So you would activate one of your scales to destroy dupe frog. Activate dupe frog's effect to search swap frog. Now you pendulum summon the swap frog, activating the effect to send Ronin Toadin to the graveyard. Then you banish the dupe frog, special summon Ronin Toadin, and overlay for your rank 2. So that's the second combo. The third combo, this one does not require a pendulum summon, so we can move these out of the way. So if you have swap frog and then any other frog, it can be Ronin Toadin, dupe frog, or another copy of swap frog. And this is actually one of my favorite combos because this helps you get around sort of a deck building problem. So like you never want to have a card that's a 3 of if it's not good in multiples. Well, swap frog is something that is good in multiples, and also it makes all of your engine good in multiples. So you have 7 cards, but as long as you draw a swap frog, if you draw any other one of them, it gives you a Toadally Awesome. So it really helps you play around sort of some deck building rules. And so yeah, swap frog and any other frog, what you do is you activate swap frog's effect, discarding whichever one you have, doesn't matter which one. Then you activate swap frog's effect, sending a Ronin Toadin. Then you banish that other one to summon your Ronin Toadin, and you exease for your Toadally Awesome. And so if you open with swap frog and Ronin Toadin, like in that case I discarded like another frog. But if you were to open swap frog Ronin Toadin, you do the same thing. You discard Ronin Toadin, special summon swap frog, and then you just send another frog to banish your Ronin Toadin. And then finally the last combo. Let's see, this one requires only one scale. So you don't need both of you don't even need both of your scales for this one. So again, it kind of covers another deck building requirement. So like, what do you do if you don't have both your scales and you open the frog engine? Well, this is how that works out. So if you open dupe frog and then any of the frog cards, like it can be any other one. So you can open double dupe frog and one scale, or like anything like this. And again, it fixes that deck building problem of needing your scales to make your Toadally Awesome. Or any rank 2 actually. And so as long as you can set one scale, this will work. So you normal summon your dupe frog, you use your scale to destroy dupe frog, activating the effect to search a swap frog. So you still have another water monster in your hand, and so you have the dupe frog in your graveyard. So you discard the other water monster, whatever it is, could be a second dupe frog, to special summon your swap frog. Then you activate swap frog's effect to send Ronin Toadin to the graveyard. Then you banish one of those monsters to special summon your Ronin Toadin, and you exease for your Toadally Awesome. So those are some Toadally Awesome plays that you can do with this engine. They definitely were amazing for me. But since we're talking about Toadally Awesome so much, let's go ahead and get into the extra deck. For the rank 2s, I played 2 Toadally Awesomes, 1 Sky Cavalry Centuria, and then 1 number 45 Crumble Logos, the Prophet of Demolition. Shoutouts to Ellis for letting me borrow the Crumble Logos, so I don't have the actual copy with me right now. And also shoutouts to Alan for letting me borrow both the Toads. So like, these guys definitely held me down because I did not have any of the extra deck coming into the event. And they let me borrow it for the event, and so I really appreciate that. But the Toadally Awesomes were obviously really good. They added another negation aspect to the deck. And the best thing about Toadally Awesome is that it makes you... The best thing about Toadally Awesome is the feeling of inevitability. So when you have Toadally Awesome on the board, you're going to special summon another frog during your opponent's standby phase. Then if they don't get over either of those, you special summon a frog during your standby phase. Now you have a second Toadally Awesome. So the first Toadally Awesome almost always leads to the second one. Even if you do negate something or they get over it, you search back something from your graveyard, then you still have Ronin Toadin. So it still leads to the second Toadally Awesome at rank 2. So that's something that a lot of other boss monsters don't have. They don't usually lead to a second version of itself. So Toadally Awesome is really good in that regard. Then second, Sky Cavalry Centuria. This was for getting over established boards without triggering effects. Like if I played a mirror match, I could just attack into a Mithrilium, bounce it back to their extra deck without triggering it. Or if my opponent had like a really big monster, I could do it like that. And so Sky Cavalry Centuria was really good in theory. However, I never needed to summon it within the actual event. And now that I'm thinking about it, it might have been... No, never mind. I didn't need it. And number 45 Crumble Logos was extremely good. So for those of you who don't know what the effect does, you can detach a material. So that's already really good because you can detach at any point, unlike Toadally Awesome and Sky Cavalry Centuria. It helps you make double Toad plays. But you detach to target a face-up card in the field its effects are negated, and then while it's on the field, your opponent cannot activate more effects of the same name. So it was so good because I could answer established boards with it. Like if my opponent had an anti-spell fragrance, and I opened up like double swap frog or swap frog on any other frog, then what I would do is just summon Crumble Logos and negate the anti-spell. They can't activate a second copy. So it's so good. Or against ABCs, there was a game where I negated Union Hanger, they couldn't activate another copy. So it's like locked on the field, its effects are negated and they can't play anymore. So it just like locks them out of the other 5 cards on the deck. So all their terraforming is dead. Union Hanger is dead. There was a game against Mermails where he had like mainly just negating floodgates is really important. For the fusions, I played 2 Mithrilium, 2 Alkahest, 1 Adamante, and 1 Orichalc. I did miss the 3rd Mithrilium. I think maybe 1 game I needed it, but it's something that you can play around. Like you don't need 3, but you have to be careful with 2. Like you just can't summon it recklessly. You just have to like be careful. And the other thing is if you do use up both of your main 2 Mithriliums, you do have to go into combination and then use Orichalc to bring it back. So you would activate combination, fusion for Orichalc, and then use combination to bring back Mithrilium. But again, that requires you to also have combination in your deck. So it's like you can't recklessly burn through your Mithriliums and your combinations, or else you lose access to Mithrilium for the rest of the game. And double Alkahest was also really good. I wasn't sure if it would be good with only one full Metalfoes fusion, but the second one did come up actually against ABCs, and it won me the game, so I liked it. And then for the synchros, I played 1 Ignister, 1 Void Ogre Dragon, 1 Crystal Wing, 1 Ultimate Zolkin, and 1 Psyframe Lord Omega. And these were really good. Ultimate Zolkin was really good because when you activate Tree Toad and set a spell or trap to your side of the field, it triggers Ultimate Zolkin. And so there was 1 game, actually 2 games, where I pulled that off, and it was just like auto and like game over at that point. Omega was really good. There was a game against Mermail where I put back a counter, and counter against Mermail is so good. That's another reason I really like counter, because against Mermail, like you just activate counter, special summon Volflame, and attack over Tree Toad. Or against any Toad deck actually, like you just play counter, summon Volflame, and attack over it. And so with Omega being able to put counter back in my graveyard after using the graveyard effect, it was really good. I just really enjoyed it. I didn't summon Void Ogre Dragon or Ignister once, but Void Ogre was especially good. Ignister was okay, and as you notice, I didn't play Luster Pendulum, so without Luster Pendulum, Ignister wasn't as good. And at first, honestly, I thought it would be okay without Luster. I thought I could summon it and I would usually have a Pendulum monster anyways. But there was one game, I actually lost the anti-spell, and I could have made a level 8 synchro, but I was looking through my level 8 synchros, and I was like, I don't have one that outs anti-spell, so I lose anyways. And so I definitely missed Luster in that case, and so moving forward with this deck, I still wouldn't play Luster because it doesn't work with the Frog engine. So it's really only good with the Metalfoes, but it doesn't work with, that's it, it's only good with the Metalfoes, yeah. It doesn't work with the Frog engine, it doesn't work with Gofu, it's not good with Majespecters. Like it's generally just not that good. Like it's useful for Ignister, and that's like it. So instead I will replace this with a Scrap Dragon so that I could just have outs to back row and establish boards. So let's go ahead and move into the side deck. First we have 3 Retaliating Seas, 2 Side Blockers, 2 Gamma Seal, 2 Jinzo, 2 System Down, 2 Cosmic Cyclones, and 2 Dimensional Barriers. So I actually didn't play any Metalfoe matches, so Retaliating Sea was really dead, but in theory I really like Retaliating Sea in a mirror match because it's like an auto win. Like if you resolve this, you win. Like you're gonna banish their fusion and 2 of their Metalfoes, so it significantly hurts their late game and their grind game because they're banishing those. Then when they destroy Retaliating Sea, you're gonna search your Max Sea, and it just slows them down the rest of the duel. Jinzo was okay. I sided in once, maybe twice. Round 1 I played against Ties of the Brethren Majespecters, so I sided in Jinzos. And game 3 I actually bricked on double Jinzo and no Metalfoe monsters. And so after that I was like, I'm just never siding Jinzo again. That's probably a really bad decision, but I didn't side Jinzo again. I played 2 Paleozoics and I didn't miss it. Let's see. For the rest of the side monsters, Gamma Seal was really good. I also really liked it, and I also really like this because I can get it back from the graveyard with Toadally Awesome. And I chose it over something like Lava Golem or Sphere Mode because they both require your opponent to have more cards. So like there are some boards where your opponent just has one monster in your way. You need to out one monster. I never wanted my opponent to have one monster and then I just don't have the out to it. So I figured that's the more likely case versus my opponent summoning like 3 monsters. In which case then a lot of times if I can just draw like one Gamesio and then like I can stop the one monster that's really hurting me the most, a lot of times I can play around the other one. So this was really good. Sideblocker was also really good. It's sort of in the same line as Cosmic Cyclone. They're both my anti-spell outs. And both of them were okay when I saw them. Now that I think about it, I don't think I saw them that much. Yeah, these were never actually useful. I sided them in a lot, but they were never useful. Sideblocker was good one game. I outed a Toadally Awesome with it. Yeah, that was about it. Yeah. I don't think Cosmic Cyclone was ever useful, but of course it's very good in theory. System down. I didn't see it against any ABC players that I played. However, I did play, or I guess I did see. I played this one really weird deck. It was ABC, Kaiju, Cyber Dragon, Galaxy, Light Machine deck. And game 3 he had anti-spell. And I did see the system down, but it didn't make a difference because I was under anti-spell. And so yeah, I lost to Cyber Dragons. That was a thing. But finally, Dimensional Barrier. This was really good. Every time I saw this, I think I win the game. Except for once against Mermail, game 3. Yeah, so game 3 I activated Barrier, calling Xyz, and he just killed me anyways. Like, it stopped him a little bit, but I still couldn't break his board because my hand was already bad anyways. But otherwise, Barrier was really good. But alright guys, thanks for watching. This has been my deck profile from the Philadelphia Regional. MetalFrogs, MetalFrogs, whatever you want to call it. Deck was extremely good again. I'm very happy with it. There are some slight changes I would make, such as the Scrap Dragon. But other than that, I feel really good about it. The side deck can also be changed a little bit. But again, I'm very happy with this deck. So definitely like, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think about it in the comment section below. And thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.